Hey there, Raw Power here. This is an update for my Dual Wield Axe Shocker build, which I'm starting, and I've recently posted a thread on the Scion build forum. And I've just recently reached level 75 in-game, so it's an update from my last video, which was recorded when I was level 70. So I'm just going to show some of the changes I've made to the build and a little bit more gameplay for you guys. So in the passive tree, what I did was I finished getting these nodes here from the Marauder tree. I got more physical damage and I got more life as well. And I really like the way both physical damage and life are scaling for me right now, because in the last video I had about 7.8k DPS on my cleave and I think about 9k on dual strike. So right now I have 9.3k DPS on cleave and 11.7 k DPS on dual strike. So my DPS is scaling really well. I'm wearing very basic gear. I upgraded my axe from the last video, but it's not a big upgrade. I want to talk a little bit more about gear in this video in detail. But coming back to the passive tree, another thing I did was I did a little bit of respecking here, because before I had these strength nodes here allocated, and I allocated them because at first I thought this was going to be a Vol Pact build, but I think the life leech mechanic is not going to be enough for Vol Pact. I explained a little bit about this in my build thread. So I decided to respec, and instead of go this way, I started going this way towards the Marauder and Templar tree. I think this is a more efficient pathing, and I also did that because it leaves me closer to the Dynamo cluster, which if I ever get a 6 link, I'm gonna need the Dynamo cluster here. I also allocated Righteous Decree, and in the previous video my cleave used to cost 4 mana cost, and now it costs 2, as you can see here, because I allocated Righteous Decree. So of course I don't really need that, because I have a mana pool of 5 right now and my mana regeneration is 9. So I was fine with a mana cost of 4, but sometimes I do maps with like 50% less mana regen, so it helps when I do that kind of map. I can just run it no problem. Also, of course, if I ever get a 6 link, I will need Righteous Degree, so I just got it anyway. So that's it for the passive tree, as long as upgrades from level 70 from 75. So let's talk a little bit about gear now. I didn't talk about gear at all in my last video. My gear hasn't changed. Hasn't changed much. I changed 3 items and the others are the same. I'm using just high base physical damage axes. These are Infernal axes. They are the last one you can get in the game. And I got this one. I already had this one in my previous video. It's pretty good. I crafted physical attack life leech on it to help me a little bit on surviving. I still need a little bit more leech, but this one is already helping a little. My other axe, which I was using at level 70, was this one, this siege axe, which I'm now trying to sell for 5 chaos. Basically, the DPS between these two axes is more or less the same. It's actually almost exactly the same. So you see I have 9.3 k DPS on cleave with this axe. If I change, I have just over 9.4, so it's a very small difference. But I chose this axe because it has a higher physical damage, and although it has a smaller attacks per second, slower attacks per second. So if you look at my tooltip DPS for cleave here, on the lightning damage for the offhand weapon, I'm dealing 454 to 930 lightning damage with this axe equipped. If I equipped this one, which was my previous one, it's 377, 838. So even though the DPS is almost the same, if I equip this axe, I get considerably more lightning damage out of it because it has a higher physical damage base. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to focus on for this build. Doing more lightning damage so I can more consistently shock mobs and bosses. Another change was, if you notice on the previous video, I was using the Belly of the Beast unique armor. I had a 5-link one, which I bought for 2 Exalteds, and it's a pretty good chest piece for life. It actually gives me more life than this one, but it's pretty bad in other stats. So I was in trade chat, I saw this one, this Paymental Crusader plate announced for 3 chaos. Of course it didn't have the 5 links, and it didn't have the 60% increased armor. I crafted that myself, so I bought it with plain, without any crafted mods, without links, for 3 chaos. Then I crafted it myself. I used Jeweler's Orbs. I got little lucky with the Jeweler's Orbs, because I got 5 sockets and like 15 Jeweler's Orbs. And then I needed something like 50 fuses to craft the 5-link, which is kind of reasonable, I guess. I crafted the 2 blue off-color sockets using Vegan's Artisan's Bench. I put at least 2 blue sockets, and it gave me the other 3 red sockets, so that was also nice. I got it on the first try, which is not so hard because this is a pure armor chest piece. So that's my 5-link. I prefer it than Belly of the Beast because it gives me like 3 times more armor for the chest piece. Belly of the Beast gave me like 400. This one is almost 1200. Of course I have better resists, and I have a little bit less armor. With Belly of the Beast I had like, at this level 75, I had 4.8k life, and with this one I have 4.5, so it's a difference of like 300 life, but I prefer that in order to get more armor. So if you remember, on my last video I had something like 3k armor, now I have over 5k, which is scaling well. And I'm also starting to allocate the unwielding cluster here, so when I finish this my armor is gonna scale decently. And that's it for the armor piece. And the last one I did was I self-crafted this ring here. I sold my Belly of the Beast for 2 Exalteds, and then I used those 2 Exalteds to craft the Can Have Multiple Crafted mods from Erion on this ring. So I bought this ring for like 10 chaos on PoE trade. It had the adds 3-7 physical damage, which is awesome to scale my DPS. And then I crafted life and resistances using Erion's crafted mod. It's nice because it adds flat physical damage, so right now look at Cleave, it has 9.3k. If I remove this ring it has 9.1k. So it gives me about 200 more DPS just for those little 3-7 physical damage. So flat physical damage scales really well in this build. Eventually I want to craft that in all of my gear and have that on my gloves as well and stuff like that. One unique item to consider for this build, exactly because of this advantage of flat physical, is Maginor's Girdle. I do have it. I used it for leveling. You will see that my DPS increases considerably if I put it on, so I get like 600 more DPS with it for Cleave. But I don't use it because it gives me 10% increased maximum life, but at this point with my passive tree and the base life that this Rustic Sash gives, that's not such a big difference. So I get like 50 life with Maginor's Girdle, 40 life or something. So I don't use it for life, and of course this belt is giving me 3 res, so it's better defensively. So that's it pretty much for gear and updates on my passive tree. I did get a little bit more DPS and a little bit more life from the last video, so I'm increasing all the important aspects of the build. And I'm gonna leave you now with a gameplay of a Dominus kill, because I actually hadn't killed Dominus on Merciless yet, so I killed him right now on level 75. Of course, it's not really a fair fight at level 75, but I killed him anyways. I actually died once because I fought him rather terribly, but there's a Dominus kill for you. And after that there's a gameplay for a Spider Forest map, which is level 69. Still a little bit low level map, but I have a very small map pool. I don't have many high level maps. I dropped this Coves map while I was running that Spider lair. I still have to build a better map pool. I'm fairly new to the end game and mapping. I actually never had a character level 75. This is my first one. So that's it for updates. I'll leave you with the gameplay now. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, if you want to comment about the build, please post your comments on the thread in the forums, which is in the description of this video. Thank you.
I offered the gift of exile, and you used it to reinvent yourself. I couldn't wish for a more potent instrument. Seen the true face of God exiled. Strengthen us from start! Die in awe! Die! The cut of God! The light of divinity! Die! The cut of God! This world is an illusion, Exile.
That is where I've always stood, Dominus. Long before you did.